Welcome everybody to the WPC Dota 2 action. We're here April 5th. We've got 3 games coming your way. Some great games at that. I'm not alone for today's games. Joining me for the first series between Vici Gaming and Team Hyperglory is going to be Mr. Base Kip. How you doing, Kip?
Yeah, doing pretty well, Gods. How about you?
I'm fantastic. It's a nice little midnight start for me, but it's like this is where I'm actually like at my best because I've been awake for like 2 or 3 hours and I'm feeling pretty sharp. So hopefully things go okay.
So you're basically nocturnal now, is what you're saying. You're getting all the night shifts at BTS.
Voluntarily. It's like, who wants to cast the night shift? I'm like, some Asian Dota. Sure.
Yeah, I heard LD, well, saw LD calling you out in what was it, in your news show where
Oh, really?
you were complaining
Oh,
like,
yeah.
oh, I've been awake for 12 or 16 hours, and he's like, that's because you chose to do that,
Yeah.
buddy. Like you were the one who put your hand up and said,
I
I'll do that. Enormous stretch.
I
But,
actually do
yeah.
the scheduling for like all our casters because we have like 4
Ah,
or
okay.
5 tournaments going on, so I get to pick and choose myself. So I'm like, ooh, DK versus IG. Don't mind if I do.
The
No,
benefits
no.
of being the boss.
It's not like that, but no, not so much the boss, more just the allocated duties. It's actually not a very fun task to do most of the time because it's a lot of headache keeping up to date with all the schedules of different tournaments. My wall in my bedroom is actually covered with like 20 pieces of paper, all with different schedules, which I've just like blue taped onto the wall to try to keep track of everything. It
Do you
kind
have
of
like the
keeps me
whole
organized.
conspiracy theorist thing going on with a
It
bunch of pieces of string and blue tack and like finding the pattern?
it kind of looks that way. Like
Okay.
if someone comes in and doesn't know what I do, they might get the wrong idea about it all. And then like some of the pages are covered in Chinese characters as well, so it definitely looks very sus. Because it's like I just printed out the WPC schedule we got sent, which is in Chinese, apart from like the dates. And yeah,
I guess the other thing is as well, you're not only coordinating yourselves within the house, some events you're, having other people come in to cover as well. You're organizing co-casters, so it's all
yeah. We got
it
Mort
gets
casting
pretty
over
messy
on
pretty quickly.
yeah, we got Mort casting over on BTS. He's doing like the Tech Labs LAN finals, I believe. It's going all throughout today, so plenty of Dota action on BTS. But today, WPC, Vici Gaming up against Hyperglory team. Vici Gaming, they're 4-0, they haven't lost a game. HGT, they lost 2-0 to Titan in their opening match. I don't think they played any other matches. And, well, ZSMJ's new team, I mean, a lot of people were saying they look the least impressive of any team so far, and that's comparing them to some of these lesser-knowing amateur teams who actually look not too bad. Orenda have taken 2 wins, actually 3 wins. They beat CIS 2-0, and they took a game off Titan.
Yeah, or end up being looking pretty good. And it's funny that you say that these teams haven't really played that much because I guess so the way that it seems to be is that they've brought Titan in
Yeah.
to play all of their games and they're just playing 2 or 3 matches per day for a whole week and then that'll finish off their group stage pretty much completely and then after tomorrow I guess they're finished and they can head back to SEA. So a short trip for them, but action packed.
It really condenses things. It's kind of hard, like, well, it's easy to follow Titan in the tournament, but looking at where the other
Hmm.
teams fit in, you don't get to see too
You have
much
no
of them.
idea.
Yeah. DK hasn't even played a game yet. Their first game is tomorrow against Titan. There was actually some rescheduling. Titan were meant to play DK and IG today, but those got swapped to tomorrow. So Titan will verse LGD as well as VT Gaming later tonight. But yeah, Titan are in China right now, and then later on Orange. I think they don't go till China until May. Like I was talking to Winter, I'm like,
Wow.
"You guys going to China soon?" He's like, "No, we don't go till May." I'm like, "Okay, cool, have fun." So Orange will also be playing in WPC, but not for some time.
Well, I love that Orange and Titan are involved. It's
Yeah,
nice to see Titan a little bit challenged. It's kind of odd though because it seems that the way that the match scheduling has worked out, they're almost playing from bottom as far as like what might be the
yeah,
internal seeding. So they've played all of the lesser known teams and whatnot, and then today they're playing against Vici and LGD, and then tomorrow they're playing against IG and DK. So the opponents are only getting more difficult as time goes on, and I guess we'll have to see if their play is improving and it's becoming better honed, or if they're starting to get tired playing a whole bunch of competitive games day in day out for a whole week. But
yep,
anyway, not a Titan game right now, so we should probably chat about Vici versus
yep.
HGT.
Vici Gaming, This is a team who, to me, is like always one of the big title contenders. I mean, they've won titles as it is, going over to EMS, taking that away. But right now, taking on HGT, this is like haven't seen them in a while, but I imagine we'll be seeing like the same old stuff from them. They're a really strong all-around team.
Yeah, definitely. And you have to keep in mind as well, when Vici are dominant, they are super dominant. I mean, back at the time of, what was it, the second season of the Cena Cup, where they pretty much just swept everybody.
Yeah, until the grand finals.
Yeah, until the grand finals, they had a fantastic run there, and they were a team that was also, they were willing to experiment a little bit as far as their picks were concerned, and it was really paying dividends. That's when we saw them really pushing Pugna into the meta, the offlane Bristleback as well. I would say that they were one of the big teams that were really pushing that forward. So Vici Gaming definitely a team to look out for as far as innovation is concerned as well, not only execution.
They pretty much won EMS like off the offlane Bristle. I mean, not so much like that was the sole reason, but that was like the big hero that they were bringing in that teams
that nobody else was doing,
and no one like could deal with it. Like Western teams just weren't used to versing the Bristleback. But then they went over to Cena Cup. The big thing there that they to me pushed in was this Shadow Shaman, which we're going to see here against HGT. This has pretty much become your top tier support in China next to the Ancient Apparition.
Yeah, definitely. AA and Rasta are seen pretty much every game at the moment over in China, and yeah. So I'll reveal obviously that we're in game and it's a little bit ahead, but we're commentating off this stream. So you've told me not to spoil anything, but it's like I keep hearing the band noises or the pick noises, and I'm like, that's happened, so I could talk about it, but not quite. So Hearts Get Together now going to pick themselves up a Storm Spirit.
You just got to like tab out from Dota 2, turn your Dota 2 sounds off, and watch the Chinese stream.
Yeah, here I'll put the stream full screen, and we'll go off that. Okay, so here we go. Now no more outside
for me because I have like 2 monitors, so I have the stream on one, so I have to actually minimize Dota 2 if I want to do that. Maybe I'm just put up like a giant. I'm gonna put up a giant blank MS Paint document to cover my Dota 2 right now.
Fair enough. Right. So Storm Spirit picked up for HGT. Not a hero that we've seen a whole lot of in recent memory, I would say. Really nice to have against, the Nature's Prophet. Put some pressure on him. Nice to have against the Rasta as well. Though it does often come down to the problem of it's going to be a support Rasta, and if you're using the strength of the Storm Spirit's initiation on the Rasta just so that he's not in the fight, then you're trading a lot of the power of your 2-position hero and a lot of the farm that they've acquired for what is probably pretty meager farm on the roster. So it just goes to show how annoying the Shadow Shaman can be. Even without items, his contribution to the team fights is pretty immense. And the Storm pretty much has to focus him until he has his BKB up, because otherwise it's just going to be immediate Hex, immediate Shackle for counter initiation. And super similar, I would say, to like a Naga support, where you just can't initiate onto anybody else aside from the Naga, because if you don't focus the Naga, then you're just all going to get songed, and counter initiation is going to go off. So
it's a good point. And then the good thing for Storm Spirit is he's not killing the Shadow Shaman alone. When you put an A Ice Blast there, if that lands on a hero like Shadow Shaman, so squishy. That's a very easy kill. And that's where this Storm Spirit is actually getting second pick, because normally teams are picking up their mid hero in like the 4th or 5th pick. Very rarely do you see teams actually picking up a mid in the first 2 picks, unless it's like one of the like quote unquote OP heroes, which Storm Spirit is not generally classified as.
Yeah, and teams do sometimes like to leave their mid a little bit later in the draft, both for counterpick reasons and also just to keep your lanes flexible. A lot of mid heroes, while they do solo safe and things like that reasonably well, picking up your mid fairly early does sort of lock things in a little bit more. And I think more or less the case for the Storm Spirit here. We do sometimes see safe lane Storm, but he really needs the levels. So probably just going to be solo mid here.
It's probably their at least initial thoughts when they pick it up. They're not planning to run safe lane. They're planning to run mid. But if the draft develops in a way where they need a different hero for mid lane, just for a matchup reason or for some other reason, then maybe they go for that. But for now, we look towards our next couple of bans. Rubik as well as Lifesteal are getting banned out by Vici Gaming. HGT, they ban out the Dragon Knight as well as Doom. So targeting one of the mid heroes in the Dragon Knight, something that Super does like to play quite a bit of. He likes to go for those tanky kind of mid lane initiators. They love the Alchemist as well, one of the few teams who still runs a lot of Alchemist. But for now, it's going to be a Sand King pick for Vici Gaming, and HGT, they get themselves a Timbersaw. So return of the Timbersaw, perhaps?
Yeah, HGT bringing back some of the old school picks, but it seems like another pick really targeted at the Nature's Prophet. It's a hero that, if he gets off to a reasonable start, boots of travel are right there in his build progression. It's pretty much always going to be Bloodstone into BOT, and he's fantastic at just holding down a lane that the Nature's Prophet is trying to split push. The Prophet can't kill him by himself. He can actually quite easily kill the Prophet if the Prophet isn't careful. And you're in that situation where you can both be sitting there contesting that lane, and the Prophet doesn't get that advantage as far as split pushing is concerned, where he shoves to your tower, somebody TPs, he TPs to the team fight, and you force a 4v5 because the Timbersaw can deal with him early on, and then once he has BOTs, well, they can both just TP to the fight if it happens, and you still have a full 5-on-5.
To guys in the chat, just to let you know, I've just adjusted some of the mic volumes. Let me know how it sounds now. I was a bit quiet, and I've adjusted them on my end, so you should be fine, Cameron. But
okay, sweet.
Let me know in chat if things are a little bit better now. Looking at the XSplit bars, it should be. I may be a little bit loud now. I can't really tell, or I'm just talking too quietly. But Weaver picked up for Vici Gaming.
Yeah, a Weaver pick. I mean, it's good against everything but the Storm, and once you have Lincolns or BKB, you're not too concerned about the Storm Spirit either. So, guess a little bit more split push power in there as well. I haven't actually seen so much Weaver recently. I feel like it's been a lot of Spectre, Lycan if it manages to make it through. Yeah, the carry picks have been really diverse these days.
Yeah, it is, well, to me, one of Silo's better heroes back in like the LGD days and stuff. So he does play this Weaver very well. So I imagine it'll be him on the Weaver. You can always run the Weaver in the mid lane, so not something that you can just say, hey, definitely going to be going as a carry role. So it's something kind of flexible.
Yeah, we didn't talk about the Sand King much either, but I think he's really risen to prominence as a top support pick these days, just because of how damn good he is in the jungle. Like, sub 10-minute Blink Dagger consistently is absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
For a support. And you know, the reason that you couldn't really pick him support so much before was because you needed to farm Arcanes and you needed to farm a Blink, and in some games that was just never possible. But with the Sandstorm changes, it's very, very feasible for Sand King to get that Blink up and almost have the same kind of role as a Batrider in some senses. Those initial couple of Blink Dagger ganks with the Sand King will normally translate into kills.
Yeah. At the same time, some of the games in WPC, we've seen like Sand King spend a lot of time in the jungle and at the cost of these other lanes. And sure, when he gets that Blink Dagger, like sub 10 minutes in, it hasn't been enough to turn around the game. So it is still very risky because it can make your lanes in your early game quite weak. And that's why I think if you look at a player like Net, when he's been playing Sand King for Titan, he doesn't do that jungle sub 10 minute Blink Dagger, generally speaking. Like every now and then, if the farm's there, he'll get it. But often, he's just spending more time in the first 10 minutes of the games, roaming around the map, getting early kills, and just an early game advantage for Titan.
Yeah, and that's something that Titan are fantastic at with their support pairing. They really like to roam. I think it shows up a lot for teams that used to run a lot of the sort of Enchantress +1 or Chen +1 roams, where your three solo heroes are very competent at holding down their lanes, and then you can just roam the supports, try and establish an advantage that way, and it shows through in their play with Sand King, and I think they used to run quite a bit of like the roaming Shadow Demon Lesh and whatnot as well, back when it was quite popular.
Well, last pick for HGT, the one true king, Wraith King has been picked up.
Nice.
This is a nice pick indeed, but I'm wondering, this puts what? Wraith King as a farmer and ZSMJ into a support Mirana. So Mirana AA Wraith King lane. This is a lot of killing potential. Do you think they go offensive trialing with this, or is this going to be like a safe lane farming one?
It'll be interesting to see, honestly. It does look like it'll probably be aggro. I mean, the Sand King is very level dependent, and he doesn't scale particularly well with levels early on, so we'll see. I'm getting mad slideshow in-game right now.
I'm sorry. Good old Perfect World Service coming back. We've actually been really lucky, having no issues with Perfect Service here. The audio in Dota TV, I think, has always been a bit sketchy, and still is, but we've had no actual, like, packet loss. But if you need to reconnect, if it's a bad server, it may just be a bad server.
30 seconds to battle.
Unfortunately, Winter's had a lot of problems as well when he's been casting with me.
Well, fortunately, I'm not. Oh, you know what it is as well, because we've had the undersea cable problems.
Yep.
And I'm probably getting routed well, I used to be getting routed through SEA, and that would have been reasonable. And now it's probably a new, completely different route from Australia to China. But oh well, I'm not doing play-by-play, so I'll see if I can reconnect and fix it. And otherwise, I'll just talk about wards and whatnot, things that don't move too much.
Anything in low pixels. But I will introduce our two teams. It's going to be Team Hyper Glory team on the Radiant side, no longer known as Hearts Get Together. It's ZSMJ playing the Marana as a support. We've got Pretty Whore on the support, Ancient Apparition. XGT playing a farming Wraith King. In the mid lane, it's going to be 1-2-1 on the Storm Spirit. Then finally, safe lane solo, they're going to put the Timber Saw, and it looks like they want this 1v1 matchup up against the Nature's Prophet. And then we look towards the dire side. Team Vici Gaming, we've got the captain, the man himself, ROTK, playing the offlane Nature's Prophet. He'll be 1v1 against the Timber Saw. We've got FY playing a support Shadow Shaman. We've got Super in the mid lane on a Nyx Assassin. Here we haven't seen mid in some time. Fenrir on the Sand King. Boots first for him. And then finally, in the safe lane farming role, it will be Sylar playing the Weaver. So, Weaver a pretty hard hero to kill with an offensive tri-lane, I feel.
Yeah. They do have... The nice thing for the aggressive tri-lane that they're running is that their farmer, in this case probably the Wraith King, can also be the initiator. So in a lot of cases, the hero, or the heroes that the opposing farmer needs to be afraid of are the supports. But in this case, if the Wraith King is just sitting up at the wave, it actually becomes very difficult for the Weaver to approach. So that's a nice little thing that's not always the case in tri-lane, since we don't really see your disabling carries.
You're missing your forte. There's ward stuff happening and you're not talking about it, Cameron.
I'm not loaded in.
Oh no.
I can talk about the load screen.
Oh, okay.
It's pretty square. Physical damage can be reduced by items that grant armor. Did you know that, Gods?
I was not aware. I'm glad I'm being informed. Thank you, Val.
There's tooltips. There's tips.
Have you got a custom load screen, or is it just the?
No, I'm
vanilla.
I use the default load screen. I use the default HUD, and I use the default announcer.
I definitely like the default HUD and announcer. I've used a few. I like the TI2 load screen. Still my favorite one. With all the blue theme going on, but. So warding was actually, there was some de-warding going on which you were missing. It was exciting stuff as Shadow Shaman actually de-wards like one over on the Radiant side of the map. He's actually come bottom lane, so it's not going to be ROTK 1v1 against the Timbersaw necessarily. FY is going to make this lane a little bit easier for him. And I like this because the Weaver, he can actually stay alive pretty well against this offensive tri-lane. Unless he gets caught out by a chain stun or an arrow, he should be okay here.
Yeah, and the Shadow Shaman being top doesn't really change anything for Vici, and they've got a very greedy support pairing as well. So because things are coming in at a rate of like one thing happening per 15 or 20 seconds, if something breaks out, just interrupt me, please.
Is it? Oh, so it's really that bad?
Oh, it's real bad.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sorry to hear that. You were casting, the last time you cast with me was for SEA Dota, I guess, not on the Perfect World servers?
True.
So I guess those are a little bit better. Hopefully things are better in game number 2. Maybe if we get a different server, but
yeah, could be.
You can talk all things strategy and wards, as you mentioned, but this offensive tri-lane, yeah, they're just not going to be able to find kills too easily, I feel.
Yeah. The Weaver can just play super defensively, the Sand King can stack and pull and farm, and the Shadow Shaman can apply a little bit of pressure to bottom lane. The Timbersaw already doesn't have the best matchup against the Prophet. It actually only goes the Prophet's way as far as CS is concerned, up until the Timbersaw hits 6 and then just kills him outright. So I guess FY being around is going to maybe help avoid that one pivotal point in this 1v1 lane.
And it also just stops him getting those fast arcane boots, because when you've got the arcane boots where you can go a lot easier for those kills and get aggressive. So if his farm gets slowed down, it's definitely a good thing for Vici Gaming. Super's going to find himself the 2-minute rune, double damage at bot. Actually wanders off and get it. Normally you don't see mid heroes really caring about those 2-minute runes just because they're bottle crowing, but a double damage rune will help him out in this mid lane quite handily.
Yeah, definitely. Double damage is one of those runes that just completely changes mid lane. You see the opposing mid laner walking back with a DD and you're like, well, that's 2 waves of CS that I'm probably going to scrape maybe 1 or 2 out of at best.
Well, I think Fenrir is actually rotated off the top lane. They've left Sylar completely alone. And this rotation has mostly gone unnoticed because they de-warded the bottom river. So there was a ward near the top river, so maybe they saw Sand King leave someone. But Fenrir is actually going to go in looking for Kaka here. I don't think they can get this kill, though. It's just a level 2 Shadow Shaman. They'll start with a Pyro Strike. Kaka taking a bit of damage. Treants will actually block him off here. That's going to force out a Whirling Death. He's got no Timber Chain. And with a TPM from ROTK, they may be able to get this one. 2 points in the reactive armor. Not going to be enough, or is it? The healing salve will get popped here. Kaka still alive. On the run with those boots. Will probably look to suicide to Roshan if he can. He's healing up a lot of HP, though. He needs to be careful. He's looking for the suicide, but he's going to time this one absolutely perfectly. ROTK. Can he get it? He will not get it. Well, Kaka didn't have anywhere to run apart from Roshan there, unfortunately. Maybe he could have ran left, but that was a good deny regardless.
Yeah, just avoiding giving away that,
wow.
that first blood is always
dead.
important.
Level 1 Mirana with no leap. And now Super comes back mid. He may kill off 1-2-1 as well. There's a Pyro Strike as well. He misses the Impale, unfortunately. 1-2-1. If he gets hit by that, it's going to be a second kill going away of Super. That double damage is doing some work.
Yeah, I'm actually watching off the Chinese stream right now because nothing is...
That's a good idea, yeah.
Yeah, it's not that far behind. It's like
15
20 seconds
at most? Yeah.
Yeah, so it's not too bad, actually.
Okay. Well, for Hatsuki, oh, I don't want to say Hatsuki, the HGT, they've got the top farmers in the Wraith King and the Storm Spirit, but giving up 2 early kills here. The tri lane up top has done a good job stopping Sylar. Sylar's only with 3 CS, but these other lanes have not gone as well as they'd like them to.
Yeah, probably not. And I guess the one big thing for HGT is just making sure that no matter what happens, this Storm Spirit does well. He is such a momentum-based hero. And even if the Timbersaw and whatnot fall behind a little bit, those Storm Spirit ganks can get them back in.
Yeah.
And he needs to farm a BKB this game as well, pretty much regardless. So that's an extra thing on the checklist that he needs to get to really be fully effective for team fights, as opposed to just pickoffs.
Yeah, unfortunately for the Storm, though, Nyx has been given a big gold boost by getting that first blood. He already can afford those arcane boots of his, so really good start for Super, and that just comes from a bit of a slip-up from ZSMJ, because he was level 1, didn't have leap. He hasn't really done anything top, and that's where this Mirana has done more damage than good for this HGT team, and we'll have to see whether this Nyx Assassin can control the game. He's got the arcane boots, he's got a haste room bottled up, he's about to hit level 6, and that's where this Nyx is a huge threat and a big danger for HGT.
Yeah, and this is always the problem with aggressive tri lanes. You walk into the tri lane and you have to ask yourself, what do we do if they just don't send anybody? What do we do if their supports roam away and the carry just sits there running pulls and never gets in range of potentially dying? And a lot of the time, teams just kind of sit there floundering.
Bottom lane, they're going to get themselves another kill here. Timbersaw gets chain stunned down here. A TP in from the Storm Spirit as well, and there's no return kill, so bit of an unfortunate sequence of events there. HGT lose another hero. They TP in, don't really accomplish much. This is Struggle Town, and Vici Gaming, they're going to look to defend this top tier 1 tower. They're TPing in heroes, including Fenrir to the tier 2 tower. They've got 3 up here. Impale coming out from a Vendetta. Super's got 1 kill here. He pops the Vendetta to do that, as well as a Carapace, and now he's looking for more, but 4 for nothing early on, as HGT kind of losing almost all 3 lanes at this stage of the game.
And they moved in so aggressively top after they saw heroes bottom lane, but they TP'd the Storm Spirit, so support was so far, and really easy kill for Super. And HGT just forced back.
It's where you almost, if Storm had said, okay, they're bottom, let's go top and look to push and get some kills there. I think the TP bottom was a big mistake from 1-2-1.
Yeah, and the Timbersaw is just so underleveled as well because of the previous death and spending so much time running around. Normally, it's not too bad to TP in and say, okay, look, if I just stop one more disable in the Timber, he can be at a quarter life and still pump out a whole lot of damage, but the Timber being in the position that he was meant that TP was never really going to help out.
It feels like this is partly why we don't see Timbersaw too much. He's so much more farm and level dependent than most of your off-laners. Like, compared to like a Nyx Assassin or a Centaur, he's very... he needs to get the levels and farm up. The one hero who does need a lot of farm and levels in the off-lane is a Nature's Prophet, but Nature's Prophet has that catch-up in the jungle. Similar story for a Bat Rider. Like, you don't see many off-laners who need farm unless they're heroes that can catch up on the farm in the jungle.
Yeah, and it's funny because Centaur even falls into that camp kind of as well. If you look at an off-lane hero like a Clockwork, for example, they can't really be recovering in terms of farm and still having an impact. If they're sitting in a lane farming, then there's nothing that they can really do. But having that global presence of the ultimate on the Centaur means that he can contribute to the game while still just AFK farming his Blink Dagger, and that's a really big deal.
Yeah, I honestly, Centaur's like far less farm independent than a Clockwork even. Like, that's why I think teams are first picking Centaur these days, just because of how little he actually needs as far as farm goes. You still have to run like a mid as well as a carry that do a lot with farm. There will be an initiation top lane. Sylar in a bit of trouble here. Won't get a time-lapse off. Nice bit of chain stun there. They use the sentry with the Wraith Fire Blast, combine it with an arrow. They get themselves a kill. Their first kill from this offensive tri-lane, and it's taken them 8 minutes to get it though.
Yeah, and the supports are fairly underleveled for HGT. I don't know if the kill has gone through yet on my screen, so ZSMJ is still level 2.
Yeah.
But this tri lane has hurt quite a bit.
He's hit level 3 now off of that kill, so I think helps him out a little bit, that's for sure. And it looks like Fenrir's gone back to the jungle. He's going to look to just kill off some stacks here. He's got level 2 Sandstorm. We'll get some decent farm and try catch up and get up towards that Blink Dagger. Meanwhile, bottom lane, RTK will get initiated on with the Chakram as well as a Storm Zip in. That's another kill going there with HGT. So they start to gather together some momentum here as they get 2 kills in succession.
Yeah, and the Storm Spirit ganks, like I said before, are just so important for HGT. But if he gets picked off, or even a single one of these ganks gets turned around, then that could be really disastrous.
Yep.
The Storm needs almost a perfect game.
Alrighty, well this top tier 1 tower now gets down to deny range, but HGT, they're not really willing to commit to this one. They haven't really got themselves in a good position here with Super nearby. He's invis up. Fenrir as well in the Sand King hits level 5, so it's a level 3 Burrow Strike coming into play. And if Vici Gaming want, they can deny this, but it looks like they'd rather try use this tower maybe as bait. Sylar realizes nothing's going to come of it, so he's just going to get an easy tier 1 tower deny up top lane. And this will give him some more space to just use this lane to farm, catch up, build towards that mid to late game tower
has been denied.
Yeah, and we've talked about before the benefits of having somebody, say, in your safe lane or mid that can go to the jungle and pick up farm while you make space for your greedy supports to recover. But what Vici Gaming have done here is instead they just have the Nyx Assassin who's constantly off, setting up ganks, not really farming, and they've made space for the Rasta to be able to get his super important levels mid. So despite Vici Gaming having those 2 really greedy supports in the Sand King and the Rasta, they don't get punished for it really in the slightest, just because of how nicely they played out the early game by dodging the tri-lane, leaving the Weaver there, putting pressure bottom, and now they've made it to the mid game where they can create a little bit of extra space with the farm on their cores, especially super.
Well, Vici Gaming, they are going to put some more pressure on this top lane now. Ice Blast will come flying in, but defending this one not going to be too easy. Arrow off the mark as well as the Ice Blast as Vici Gaming back off at the right time, and now they go back in. Ice Blast on cooldown, they say thank you very much. We'll get this tier 1 tower now. Glyph does get used here, so they may need to wait for this next creep wave to come. More TPs coming in. This is your Wraith King, and he's got the reincarnation. He'll look for a stun. He doesn't want to throw it on a Nyx Assassin who can just carapace it. And with XCT getting mana burned up, he actually doesn't have mana for the stun as well as the reincarnation. Does have 8 magic sick charges, so has those to fall back upon, but no casualties at the top lane. Vici Gaming try pressure the tier 1 tower. They don't get it, but they force a lot of rotations from HGT.
Yeah, HGT brought 4 heroes top total?
Yeah. Everyone but the AA who stayed mid, it looks like.
And Vici got the glyph out as well there. So next push on another tier 1, of which there are still 3, should be a little bit more successful.
Yeah. I think that's, in the end of the day, I think it's a small win for Vici Gaming just because of how much rotations they force out from Hearts Get Together. I'll just call him that. Make my life easier. Pretty Hole, the only one not rotating, and he's already hit level 6 on AA, so doesn't really matter that they give him a bit of space to farm. And Wraith King, I like this little item pickup from XDT. He's gone for a Blink Dagger rush after his tread, so an 11-minute Wraith King Blink Dagger. He can force the fights. That's what they needed at that top lane when they TP'd everyone in. If they had a Blink Dagger on the Wraith King there, they can force a fight with Reincarnation on Wraith King and just get themselves some kills off of it.
Radiant's bottom tower has fallen.
This isn't even like the first time that we've seen this. CIS, when they were running the Wraith King aggro tries a whole lot, we're picking up the Blink Dagger. So nice from XTT, and hopefully he'll be able to set up some kills, moving around with the Storm Spirit as well. But going for this means that it has to pay off. It has to, secure at least 3 or 4 kills that they might not have gotten otherwise. And it comes down to whether or not Vici Gaming start playing more defensively, and whether or not they've seen this pickup.
Yeah, I don't think they've seen it just yet, but ROTK playing very defensively in the mid lane. Looks like they'll swing towards this top tier 2 tower where Fenrir is farming away, but they need some kind of detection for him, or at least get an insta-disable off on him. And it looks like they decide Sand King's a bit of a risky proposition. They swing back towards the mid lane. They've used a lot of time here smoking around, not finding any kills just yet. Now they get scouted out. Treant goes onto the high ground, will spot one. Won't spot any more as it goes the wrong direction to spot the other 3 HGT heroes here. So
and that's pretty much a 5-man movement from HGT, which profited them nothing, unfortunately. So Vici in that little window definitely pulling ahead in terms of farm.
Yeah, and they're pressuring bottom lane. They're almost getting a tier 2 tower here. They've got it down to half HP. XTT's rotated through, straight through this mid tier 1 tower. He gets scattered out by Super, who's in Vendetta here. He may just kill off Pretty Hole. Pretty Hole getting low. The Prophet Ultimate will help him out. He gets a kill in the AA. Meanwhile, bottom lane, this tier 2 tower is down to below 500 HP, and Nyx Assassin has completed a Blink Dagger. Really nice play from Vici Gaming all over the map.
Yeah, and this is pretty much a 5-man movement from HGT, which profited them nothing, unfortunately. So Vici in that little window definitely pulling ahead in terms of farm. Yeah, Vici Gaming just splitting things up, slowing it down, making sure that the pick-off power that HGT have isn't paying off, and somehow still getting pick-offs of their own,
Yep.
pretty much exclusively through Super right now.
It's something really HGT have to worry about, because HGT are the ones smoking around the map, rotating as 5, trying to find kills using this new Blink Dagger, and they're not getting kills. It's Vici Gaming who've got like the stick together as 5, try and take more team fights, or at least rat Dota with the Prophet. They're the ones getting these little kills. Arrow going to be off the mark once again. HGT just can't land anything right now. They need some good initiation, and the only hero it can come from is kind of the Wraith King, and to a lesser extent the Storm Spirit. The Storm Spirit can try set up some kills here, but he's just level 9 and has absolutely nothing as far as farm goes. He's still just sitting on 900 gold with only treads up on himself.
They've been deathballing for pretty much the last 4 or 5 minutes, but I guess deathball is a bit of a misnomer since they haven't actually gotten any kills out of it. And that means that their overall farm, gold, and experience is really suffering. And when you're 5-manning like this, you go after one target, the Rasta pops his head up, in another lane, drops the Serpent Wards, and that's another tier 1 tower.
And another arrow missing. Ice Blast's going to come in as well. That one, ooh, not going to catch anything. This is, to me, HGT, like, the strategy's been alright. The execution's been off. Like, the arrows, ZSMJ has not hit an arrow this game that's had any sort of an impact. You look at this AA, his Ice Blasts have been off the mark. Vici Gaming, partly you can credit them for managing to avoid them, but these arrows coming in from fog over the secret shop, over the trees, these should be landing, or at least landing some of them.
Yeah, it is definitely... I mean, it's a numbers game, right? You need to throw a lot of arrows, and sometimes you get a little bit unlucky, because there is a prediction factor involved.
Yep.
Where is this particular hero going to be at a particular time? And like you said, Vici Gaming are already aware that they need to be watching out for the Ice Blast, and that means that awareness is up as well for the arrows.
Yeah. And XCT, I feel like he's kind of the more reliable initiation. A Blink Stun, he needs to be there, at least TP in and then Blink Stun someone. I guess it's hard to catch the Nyx. The Sand King's got a Blink Dagger now as well. The Weaver's mobile, so if he sees Shadow Shaman or the Prophet, he needs to go for the kills. He's going to go for one on Super at mid lane. This arrow will be on point. Super going to get destroyed at the mid lane. Finally, we see ZSMJ come into play with that arrow, but it's taken some time to actually get one off.
Yeah, and it's a nice kill, but it in no way makes up for how HGT have been dragged around the map up until this point. Vici Gaming are just controlling the pace perfectly.
FY, snipes a courier using Serpent Wards. He had an Observer Ward in the... This Observer Ward is not in tower range, apparently. That looks awfully close, but apparently it's just outside of this tier 2 tower range. And uses it to help get a courier snipe.
Nice. That's some no-tail stuff right there.
Yeah. There's XCT going to come out. Clear out these last couple of wards here, but... Well, a bit of gold going there with HGT, but Vici Gaming going to be very happy with that courier snipe. They popped the Invis here, but that one should get spotted. I think they're trying to gank Sylar with this Invis, but 2 heroes were revealed mid lane, so Sylar, assuming him or one of his teammates was watching mid lane, they would have seen this Moonlight Shadow get used, and this gank is going to fail. That was meant to be a kill on Sylar or Super, and it's not going to work.
And Vici just looks so comfortable with the pacing of this game right now. It looks like Sylar doesn't even feel like he needs to fight early, otherwise I think he might have been going for BKB, but just slightly more split push oriented, just working on the Lincoln Sphere, and I think it'll work fine, the power of the Weaver and the Nature's Prophet.
Yeah, Prophet... ROTK just has not been dealt with this game. He's only died the one time. He's been pressuring and split pushing towers a lot. He's constantly coming to this bottom lane. Tower's still below 500 HP from their last push, so hasn't done much damage since then, but it just feels he's giving so much space for Super to keep farming on Weaver, for Nyx Assassin to find kills on the map, and Sand King, he's been farming away in the jungle. He's got his Blink Dagger up, level 8 now as well, so we can look towards Fenrir getting a bit more involved as well.
Yeah, and it's an obvious thing to mention as well, but the Necronomicon is amazing against Wraith King. A little bit of micro just to make sure that you're using the one active ability that it has on the blue minion, and you can quite easily make sure that the Wraith King doesn't get a reincarnation off. So I think it's definitely the right choice here for RTK.
I get the D-Ward in the mid lane HGT. That's an important bit of vision to deny there from Vici Gaming, but how much is this actually going to matter? It looks like they're trying to get initiation here on Sylar at the top lane. Not going to be able to get the... Once again, the Chain Stun just not quite there. ROTK, though, he may have overstayed his welcome here. XCT's looking for him with a stun. Has a Blink Dagger soon. ROTK needs a Sprout TP. Can he get it? He will not do so. Marana gets the last hit for the kill. XCT going to go down as the bugs, it looks like. Actually gets Mother burnt down, and that's reincarnation on a, what, 5-minute cooldown? Longer? No, a bit under 5 minutes. What am I talking about? 4.5 minutes.
Sure. I'm now
Radiant's
getting to watch
middle
the fight
tower
that
is
happened
under
top
attack.
with RTK getting chased down. Okay, there we go.
Yeah, it was a
Radiant
Arrow going
structures
flying
are
mid
fortified.
and again off the. That one's
Radiant's
shouldn't
bottom
land as
tower
well. Like
is under
it's
attack.
daytime, you see the arrow coming. Silas got Shikuchi, he can get away from it pretty fast, so getting that arrow to land is very difficult. But meanwhile, Vici
Radiant's
Gaming,
bottom tower
Shadow Shaman gets one tower.
fallen.
Sila was going in for the T1 tower. He's going to get burst down. He gets the time lapse off
Radiant's
just in
middle
time.
tower
Super.
has been
Carapace
denied.
has a blink as well. Arrow not going to be on point here. There is a sentry ward possibly going to scatter him out here. Super should blink to the high ground. Will do so. They get the T1 tower. Does get denied, but they get, more importantly, the T2 bottom with the Serpent Ward. So a lot of gold going the way of Vici Gaming.
Radiant's
Yeah,
bottom
and
tower
Rasta is
under
just
attack.
such a pain for this exact reason. It doesn't need items in the slightest to
It's
be
got
able
mech
to,
as
to
well.
hammer down towers.
That's an interesting... You don't often see the Rasta with mech.
Yeah, that is a little bit surprising. The nice thing is he can pretty much buy whatever his team needs. If they want to be more active, more aggressive, more team fighty, he can pick up a mech. He can go for the Blink Dagger if they feel they need more pick-off power, but I don't think they do because they have a Sand King Blink and a Nyx Assassin Blink. And I guess the other option is just to go for another Necrobook. But I think the mech is just fine here.
Yep. Well, RTK getting closer and closer to that Necro 3. We will see a Blade Mail build come out from the Wraith King. This is... I mean, a lot of people think of Wraith King more of a carry, but this is the kind of build we've been seeing, like teams like CIS use, even teams in the Western scene. VP have been running quite a bit of Wraith King, and they like to go for this Blade Mail build. Generally, when they do go for a damage item later on, it's something like a Mjolnir or Maelstrom. Well, Maelstrom into Mjolnir, but seeing a Blade Mail build come out here, they're going to see a Blink Initiation. Pretty Whore in some trouble here. He gets caught out in the trees. Meanwhile, a Blink Impale. Mana Burn going on XTT, and he's still 2 minutes away from having Reincarnation, so... he has to play very cautiously here.
I really feel like XCT is just going to get mana burned and ignored in these fights. They're going to sick the Necrobook on him. They're going to throw one mana burn
Well,
from
they
the
don't...
Nyx, and
Do they even have to ignore him? They can just kill him if they mana burn him. Like, it's worth actually focusing him down if he has no mana for ulti. But, they'll find a kill on Weaver at top lane. This time they are successful. Didn't even need a Moonlight Shadow. Looks like it was just a zip pull with an arrow possibly landing there. Meanwhile, mid lane XCT in some trouble. He hasn't got the ulti, and this is going to be the death of the Wraith King. He goes down to the 2 supports of anything, and Nyx Assassin with a haste rune is looking to do some more damage here. There's another mana burn, Timber Chain to the high ground. It looks like Famerex got caught up by an arrow, so ZSMJ making up for some earlier misses perhaps. And yeah, looking at the replay there, it was an arrow at top lane helping kill off the Weaver.
Yeah, just a really clean arrow to start things off, and yeah, Vici Gaming, well, at least they get a trade out of it over at mid. And it looks like they get out without any further casualties here. So just 1-for-1 on the carry.
They're going to lose Storm Spirit mid now. Kind of an unrelated fight going on here, but Kaka now in trouble. He's ward trapped up. Needs to get a Timber Chain out of this one, but he actually has no mana left from the mana burn from Super. And another kill going the way of Vici Gaming. Arrow will land on Weaver, but Sylar, no way to really engage into this one. And, well, we'll see Vici Gaming pick themselves up a couple more important kills. Timbersaw as well as Storm Spirit going down. 2 core heroes picked up for pretty much nothing in return.
And the Nyx Assassin is just disgustingly
Radiant's
effective
middle
this
tower
game.
is under
Super
attack.
has played really well, but against all 3 cores on HGT, the mana burn and the burst damage are just absolutely fantastic.
It was a value last pick, because this was their 5th pick, and a hero you often don't see mid, so you wouldn't expect to actually have to ban it out for HGT, but it's such a value pick. Super now will get chained some at the mid lane, but he's still okay. He's still sitting on about 350 HP here. ZSMJ, he's forced to leap his way out of this one, but he's got nowhere to run, doesn't get to the high ground. Weaver not going to go on the chase here. It looks like Super will go chasing them down. Doesn't actually get the last hit off on him. While Storm zip towards bottom lane. Super pops a Carapace. XTT can't stun for now. He'll get the stun finally. He goes down though. The Necrobook helping that one out. HGT lose 2 here. They're going to also about to lose 2 here. 1-2-1. He's in some trouble. Pops an Epicenter as well. Sylar going to go in. Look to finish off the Storm Spirit. Out of mana. 2-for-2 trade now at the bottom lane. ZSMJ. No leap for 1-2 seconds. He'll get the leap to the high ground just out in time. But they've lost another. They've lost the AA. They're going to make it 4 as Timbersaw gets shackled up. Brought down by the right-click damage. Nature's Prophet. ROTK getting the last hit for that one. The Necro 3 from ROTK. Just crippling HGT.
With me.
Yeah, and Vici Gaming just looks so carefree as they're just forcing their way into the Radiant side of the map, continuing to take fights. I think if they wanted to, they could just buy a gem, establish a bunch of ward control, and farm up some items, but it looks like they're content to just say, okay, we've got Necro 3, you know, Lincoln Sphere on the Weaver, that's just gonna be that. We're gonna push up onto the high ground.
Arrow will land on FY. This may be the death of him. AI Plus coming in with a Blink Wraith Fire Blast from XTT, so they'll lose a Raxi, but they get a kill in return on the Shadow Shaman. Question is, can they get any more here? XCT needs to be careful. Has got the ulti, but looks like Storm looking for more Sylar with a Lincoln Sphere up. He actually blocks the Vortex coming up from the Storm, so Sylar will Shikuchi his way out of there, and Vici Gaming may just re-engage here. Reinforcements has arrived in the form of the Nyx Assassin, and he wants to kill off 1-2-1 here. Burrow Strike to lead things off. Impale not even going to be needed here as Weaver kills off the Storm at mid lane. HGT, they get like an easy pick off on a Shadow Shaman, but it's always coming at the cost of a much bigger hero, it feels like.
Yeah, and not only heroes, objectives. That's Vici Gaming now up a lane of racks as well. And it's just going to continue from here. They walk up, they pop Necro, they throw down the Mass Serpent Wards. HGT really need to force a fight if they can outside of the base, because once Vici Gaming have established their position, I don't think HGT, even with the good initiation that they have with 3 extremely mobile cores, well, with the Wraith King with the Blink Dagger making up for his lack of mobility, but they can't afford to let them get anywhere close to these tier 3s.
Yep. It's just going to get trickier and trickier. We'll take a quick recap of that last team fight as the replay. It looks like Vici Gaming about to go for a Roshan, but this bottom fight just went so well for Vici Gaming. It wasn't the cleanest initiation. The epicenter from the Sand King didn't even kill off the Storm Spirit completely, and Fenrir does pay for it with his life, but they killed the Storm, and once Storm's down, there wasn't really too many more answers or initiate. Not only Storm was down, the Wraith King as well. And once Storm and Wraith King are dead, Mirana's a support hero. Timbersaw can't really finish off any kills on his own, and it was just easy picking from there. And from there, Vici Gaming, they grab themselves a Roshan. Now Aegis going to be picked up. That's going to go into Sylar's hands. He's got his Lincoln's Aegis, 1700 gold, and once he's got a damage item to go with this Lincoln Sphere, I feel pushing the high ground will just be a bit too easy for Vici Gaming.
Yeah, the slow-mo replay is so sweet to watch. That was really cool. But yeah, Vici Gaming, straightforward Roshan, no contest whatsoever from HGT. And I think, yeah, HGT, their only hope is to probably leave 2 heroes sitting in the base at the tier 3, wait till Vici Gaming walk up, and then send the remaining 3 heroes around the side with a smoke, try and get the jump, maybe burst down. Even the Nyx Assassin and the Sand King and the Rasta right at the very start, because the 2 supports are actually causing them a lot of problems as far as lockdown are concerned.
And FY with a gem denies HGT of any possible vision on the map. He's got a Blink Dagger as well, gets himself to the high ground, and at this point, absolutely no Radiant Observer Wards up, apart from this one in the top lane, which isn't going to offer much if the push comes either mid or bottom lane, which for now, it looks like Vici Gaming aren't so much going for a push, just trying to get all their lanes out, as well as try find some pickoffs more than anything, using these heroes on the other side of the map.
Yeah, and they've got a full 6 minutes with the Aegis as well. To, if they're close to finishing any other items, then they can definitely spend the next 2 to 3 minutes just doing that.
Yep. And yeah, the Blink and Force on 2 heroes here gives them such great mobility. So even if Sand King and Nyx are going blinking in to try to get pickoffs, they've got the backup plan of having these Force staffs to get them out safely. And that's where they can be very aggressive on the other side of the map here. It looks like HGT, they've got a gem of their own. They realize, hey, we need some map control, but a gem, that's such a big investment for ZSMG. I guess he decides there's not much else he can buy like right away, which is going to help as much as a gem. So we see Mirana just doing whatever dewarding he can, and hasn't done a complete job just yet. There's still some in their own jungle.
Yeah, it's just difficult for HGT to move out onto the map, especially when they're as blind as they are. And Vici Gaming hex up on the Prophet, more and more items on their way in. And probably
gonna lose one here. They lose the Nyx Assassin to a nice little gank from the Storm Spirit, and RTK, he TP'd into this one very low, gets Ice Blasted up as well. TP up from CSMJ, gets himself away, but the Storm Spirit, out of mana, has to be careful. Super's got a Blink Impale soon, and with that, I think we may see 1-2-1 go down. He's regenerating mana slowly with the Orchid here. The chase is on, though. There's going to be a Sprout coming in as well. Vendetta, Mana Burn. Easy kill for Super. There's a Blink Impale into the high ground. Not going to land. Fast fingers from ZSMJ. Does get the Blink out, but it's still looking very grim for
bottom
HGT.
barracks are under attack.
And it's just every time they get something even worse happens in return. There's always uneven trades in favor of Vici Gaming.
It was a Nyx buyback, which seems a bit silly and unnecessary, but XCT will go in actually with a blink initiation here. Meanwhile, Sankey on the backline taking a lot of damage here. The Ice Blast is going to help finish him off, and Timbersaw, the burst damage from this fella is pretty scary, as he's going to go looking to Timber Chain and find some more here. ROTK TP's out, Nyx Assassin pops a Carapace, will set up a lot of these heroes here. Surfboards gets dropped as well. FY wants to turn this one around. He's caught XTT in the Surfboards, gets himself a double kill here. He's going to try and make it 3 here, as it looks like Timbersaw goes down as well. Triple kill for FY. Great play coming out from Vici Gaming. They re-goose, they turn it around, even after losing Stanking, Prophet TPing out. They say, we can do this 2v4, or 2v5 almost with FY as well as Nyx Assassin, and they get a triple kill for your Shadow Shaman.
Very nicely done by Vici Gaming, and things still just looking fantastic. I don't know what HGT can do at all to turn this game at this point, really.
I don't think there's anything. Arrow going to hit Silo at the top lane, but they've already lost the Storm Spirit, and there's no follow-up damage to kill off the Weaver here, so... Looks like his Desolator is coming out. Yeah, Desolator on Weaver, this is game over. Like, the breaching capabilities to get to the high ground with Necro 3 plus Desolator is just something that HGT can't push back. They can't hold on to their base much longer. They're going to go for one last Moonlight Shadow, it looks like. Maybe try to find a good fight at top lane, but this is just tough time for him. Blink stun on ROTK. ROTK may go down here. He has got a buyback by the looks of things if he does go down. Still alive here. Blink, Burrow Strike, Epicenter coming in from Fenrir. He's got himself a couple of kills here. Kaka in trouble now as well. Timber Chain plus Whirling Death on through, but he's out of mana, out of HP as well, as the Desolator from the Weaver helps finish him off. Meanwhile, Blink in, XCT wants to go back in. Sandking forced up out of there. He's still going to be alive. Does end up going down to the Wraith King. The Talon Blast helping out on that one. XCT respawning now. Has the slow from his ulti off. Blade Mail as well. Silo taking a lot of damage. Forced to time lapse out. Does have an Aegis here, so they get a kill. Nature's Prophet coming back in with a Dagon of all items. ROTK, the Master Troll, gets himself a double kill now, and the tier 3 tower will go down. Buybacks coming in from the Wraith King. He wants more. He wants back in. He'll get a kill on the Shadow Shaman. 1-2-1 will go down to get this one, and now the Wraith King is in all sorts of trouble. He's got a stun. He will actually throws it out, but gets dodged by the Link of Fear of Sylar. And with that said and done, ZSMJ calls GG. His team, Hyper Glory team, have fallen to the might of Vici Gaming. Vici Gaming still undefeated in the WPC base kit.
Though, with not too many games as a sample size.
Yeah, 5-0. They beat LGD, though, which was a pretty big win. But yeah, and they haven't versed like the top teams. They haven't versed your DKs, they haven't versed your IGs.
Yeah, it's still definitely the Titan show at the moment. But very nicely played by Vici Gaming. Didn't drag the game out any longer than it needed to be either. Fantastic play, I think, from Super, especially. He had some space to work with middle lane, and he pretty much, well, him along with RTK, recovered from the early game. They didn't even fall that far behind in the early game, and just made everything work for Vici, creating the space that they needed.
They were just getting too many kills, and the tri lane from HGT just didn't accomplish anything. Mirana ended up giving first blood. ZSMJ, he actually turned things around really well in the mid to late game as far as actually setting up some kills using arrow, but his early game was very low impact. And when your offensive tri lane has like either no impact or negative impact on the game, you've done something wrong.
Yeah, and that's always the danger of going for an aggressive tri lane. You pretty much need to keep the pull camp locked down at all times, and you need some way to force those heroes to stay there and try and fight you, because if everybody just starts running from lane to lane for the entire duration of the early game, then a lot of the investment or the gamble that you made by going for the aggro try just doesn't pay off.
Yep. Well, it is a 2-game series. We'll see if HGT can scrap things together in Game 2. Try get their first win in the WPC. FY, the MVP from Game 1, he's in good form right now. Vici Gaming as a whole are in good form, but myself, Gods, as well as Baseskip, will be back after a short break with Game 2 of Vici Gaming with HGT in the WPC. Stay tuned.